crazy. But yeah, like even thinking about how good this game looks for being almost 40 years old, to think that it looked this good in 1989 when Super Nintendo, like 1989 was the same year that the TMNT one for the NES came out. So like you could imagine my disappointment when I had played this game in the arcade and then I got an NES for Christmas and I popped TMNT 1 in there and it looked and sounded nothing like TMNT, and I was just so disappointed. Now when I got TMNT 2, different story. It does not look this good, but it at least looked and felt like the arcade game. I'm very happy with it. But yeah, it's crazy to think that they were doing this stuff in the 80s, and home consoles didn't catch up with that for years. I mean, I would argue this is probably somewhere between Super Nintendo and PlayStation. You know, if it fell anywhere, it would have to fall on the PlayStation because I don't think they could do it on the Super Nintendo. So it's crazy that you're playing like a PlayStation 1 quality game in the arcade almost 20 years. No, sorry, almost 10 years before the PlayStation came out. Anyway, it is time to rate that game. Where's my here we go. That was fun. I'm really sad that it's over. They're so short. The good ones. They come and they go so quickly. And then stuff like TMNT 2003 takes 6.5 hours. Uh, anyway, all right. So first things first, let's fill out our estimate or our time. Our estimate was 1 to 2 hours, and I believe that it took around 45 minutes. I didn't actually look at the start time. I'll look at it once I clip the video later, but I think it was around 45 minutes. It's not the same color. Color. There we go. All right. So TMNT Arcade. Again, we're taking ourselves out of the modern day and we're sending ourselves back to 1989 and trying to review this based on 1980. That being said, like we just said, for graphics, I mean, like I gave Hyperstone Heist a 9 because it looked really good for a Genesis game. It looked quality. To think that this game came out like almost, well, I guess it wasn't that much earlier. Hyperstone Heist was what, 1992? Do I have that information on here? I do have that information on here. 1992. Okay, so this game came out 3 years prior, and it still knocks the socks off this one. So if I gave that a 9, I got to give this a 10. The sound design was really good. I love the sound effects in this game. Like I said, a lot of these things just like unlock core memories for me. Sorry, why is there no song playing? Um, just hearing those sounds, like the metal clanging on the metal, the lady who shrieks when you like try to hit her while she's skateboarding by, the pizza time. We didn't even get to hear the who put the lights out. I just, the music, the sounds the bosses make, the voice clips of the Roadkill Rodneys and the Shredders. It's just all so great, and the soundtrack, chef's kiss. I mean, again, I think the sound on this is probably like a 9. It probably could have been a little bit better. Probably could have had a little bit more stuff in it. But for a 1989, it's solid. All right, so the gameplay. This is, if I'm going to be critical anywhere, this is probably where I'm going to get critical. The gameplay is very simple. 2 buttons, attack, jump. You can do a jump attack, and you can do like a big swinging jump attack type thing that apparently has been nerfed into the ground in this version. But not a whole lot else. You know, there's no real special moves. There was no grabs, no throws. Well, just kind of throw, but not really. There's no slams. There's no throwing people into the screen. I mean, it's just very basic. It does what it does very well, but it's very average. But do you think about this game compared to some of the other like early beat 'em ups? This one was just, I feel like it was just so much better. Like comparing this to like a Double Dragon, like this game clears it by a million. So I would say, even though it's very simple and basic, you know, at the time that was kind of what you needed, and especially in an arcade setting, like you didn't have an instruction manual, you didn't have a tutorial, like you had like a little box on the cabinet that told you how to do the, you know, jump, attack, you know what I mean? So they had to keep it simple, but as far as gameplay goes, I'll probably give it like a 6. It's very mid, but it's a little bit better than the others in the category. The controls were good, you know, you can move solid. You know, the attacking you can mash pretty fast, and he kind of keeps up. It's kind of cool in this one because they kind of like, they do some combos instead of just like, you know, swinging the weapon. I really like that. But at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot that you can do. And it's kind of the same problem that I had in Hyperstone Heist. Like, sometimes you would really want to like do like a jump kick, and it just, I don't know, it just wouldn't do it. Or it wouldn't go the direction you were trying to go, especially when you're trying to circle around some of the bosses. It gets a little tricky. So the controls are not perfect, but they're very good. So I'd probably throw them about an 8. The story, this game, I don't know. It doesn't really... It does have a story, I guess. It starts with a little cutscene, you know. The turtles are on the rooftop. There's a fire in the building. They're like, oh, we got to go make sure everybody gets out of the fire okay. Luckily, there was only one person left in this New York high-rise, and that's April O'Neil. Everybody else was gone for the day. But April O'Neil's in there, so we got to save her. Oh, wait. Somehow Shredder dug up through the floor, even though we're on the roof? What? Hold on a minute. I've never put this under a microscope before. This is a little bit weird, but then, you know, you beat Rocksteady and Shredder grabs her. But then, eventually, do you get her back? I just played this game and I can't even remember. Did you get her back? And then at one point, Splinter is the one who's kidnapped, and you get him back. And then you're like, okay, well now we just gotta go kill this son of a gun. So you go to the Technodrome, which I don't know how we found it, but, you know, we made it. So anyway, not a lot going on story-wise, but again, beat 'em up's not known for impressive narrative. So if I'm looking at what I gave some of the other stuff, I feel like I'll give this around the same. I'll give it about a 6. It's not blowing you away. Innovation. So in terms of like innovative gameplay, this one, it didn't do anything super shocking or original. You know, it's a side-scrolling up. It was fun though, because they had like the traps that would like come out of the background and attack you. Like the cars would pull out or the signs would fall down. You know, you could throw enemies into the wall and they make a little splat. You know, stuff like that. There were interactions with like the environment. You could hit the street signs. You could hit back the sewer covers. You could knock off the fire hydrants. You could hit the road cones. Like, you know, that stuff makes the game just feel a lot more fun. Even though like it doesn't do like anything super strong, it just felt good to do it, you know. And again, a lot of early beat 'em up games didn't have stuff like that. You know, again, I'm trying to think of some older ones like Double Dragon, Battletoads. They didn't have a lot of environmental kills, so it's kind of nice. But I think where this one kind of pushed the envelope is, again, like being an arcade game and being of like the era of like the 80s, like having the animations and the voice clips in there was really cool. So I think the innovation score will be kind of like a middling. It didn't push the envelope too far, but it did some cool things, so I'll give it a 7.5. And then content replayability, it's in the same category as Hyperstone Heist. It is a very short game. It's, you know, if you're good at it, it's less than an hour. If you're bad at it, it's still probably only going to take about an hour. So it's not like an overly long. It was meant to be played, you know, in one standing, so it can't go on for too long. But just, I don't know, in my opinion, just infinitely replayable. I couldn't even try to estimate the number of times that I've played this game, either in the arcade or elsewhere. And when it hit on the wheel, I was just like, yes, I get to play TMNT Arcade. I mean, like I said, it's one of the main reasons I even set up this event. So I think it is, while it is a low amount of content, highly replayable, fun every time. You can play it by yourself. You can play it co-op. Now you can play it online. 8.5. Again, the shortness of the game brings it down a little, but the replayability, I think, keeps it elevated. So that's that. Let's get ourselves an aggregate here. 10, 9, 6, 8, 6, 7, 8.5, 7. Yeah, this scale is messed up. The fact that this game's getting a 7.86. I guess that rounds up to a 7.9. This game should be like a 9.5 realistically, but I've come up with a weird scale here. But it is what it is. Was that a snowplow? What the? 67 degrees outside. Anyway, sorry. 7.9 for this one, and 6.9 for Hyperstone Heist. I still think that's really respectable for Hyperstone. I need to put that in. All right. Here's the deal. It's about 11 o'clock. I'm coming up on 3 hours. I'm probably going to call it there.